Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. Am I audible to you guys? So, guys, we are here for the first online event from GEG Hubli and WTM Hubli, which is Build Your First App Using Flutter Basics. So, before moving to the session, I would like to go ahead with the introduction session. And first thing is the video is being recorded. So, even if anybody misses, they can watch it later, which would be available on GDG Hubli channel. Second thing is, it's really big and a great news for all of us that we are 1,000 plus on Meetup community as a part of GDG and WTM. So a big congratulations to everybody out here. Hope to grow bigger and bigger with time and collaborate with you all in different aspects. Next we have is Google Cloud Training, that is Cloud Study Jam. Google is offering different courses for students out there and other developers. So if anybody wishes to join, can go through cloudonair.com and you can go ahead. The links for all these would be provided later in the comment section maybe. And next is application for developer student club leads are now open. Developer student club leads are for students, college students, especially of third and fourth year maybe, and the applications are live once a year, so they can apply, and there are certain questions asked out there in the form, so maybe they can fill and go ahead with that. The deadline for DSC leads is, I guess, May 15th, so those who are yet to fill up the form may go ahead. And one more thing, every college can have only one DSC leads, so don't miss the opportunity and go ahead. Next is once now when we have begun this event of online series, we are not coming back. So our next event, which would be probably this weekend, is on basics of data analysis. And next is, guys, we like getting love too. So if you have your online presence anywhere in the social media, you can use the following hashtags: GDG at home, hashtag GDG Hubli, and hashtag GDG to mention us and show some love. Also, at the end of the session, we would be having a feedback link, so you all could be available to put your feedbacks there. So before beginning, I would like to introduce you to our speaker, that is Mr. Abhishek Mirajkar. He's a founder at Tech Solutions and Ultimate Hype. He is from our very own community, GDG Hubli. So we are really proud to have him here. And to your surprise, he's a student as well. So I would like to hand him over and
Yeah. So, hey everyone, my name is Abhishek, and I stay in Dharwad. I've been a community member since a year, I guess now. I was given a chance to speak in GDG maybe 6 or 7 months before, where I spoke about personal branding and stuff like that. Where today we are going to talk about basics of Flutter, where we are going to learn how to build your first application using Flutter. So just in case if you missed or you don't know about Flutter, so this is the best time to learn a skill in the lockdown and get started with learning Flutter and building applications. So yeah, let me just share my screen so that you guys have a proper look. So yes, yeah, just give me one moment. So all right, so let's get started, guys. Like we were like 5 minutes delayed, but that's all right. So my name is Abhishek. I am founder at Tech Solutions and Ultimate Hype. So whereas I wrote my first code, I started my first coding when I was 17 years old. That is when I started my graduation. I did not code until like my PUC days or like something like that. I am also a vlogger where I record my travel stories, and I also record whatever that is around me so that I can see those videos after, like when I become 50 years of age and keep laughing on my memories. So yeah, that's the main reason why I vlog, to create stories and see them, once I'm old. So I've also been public speaker in a lot of events. I also conduct my own session, and I have also attended GDG events, and I've also made like a lot of events in my colleges as well. So public speaker, a little bit of that. Okay. So just in case, if you want to know more about me, what you can do is you can go to Facebook, write Abhishek Milajkar, and I have my own profile photo there. LinkedIn is Abhishek Milajkar, same. And when it comes to Instagram, the ID is the logical guy. All right. So yeah, let's begin with, without any wasting any time, let's begin with the introduction. So now, when we talk about Flutter, Flutter is obviously a technology made by Google to develop mobile applications. So when we talk about mobiles, what platforms do we have to build mobile applications on? We have, we had four platforms. That was Android, iOS, Apple. I'm sorry. We had Android, we had iOS, we had Windows, and we had BlackBerry. But there were some complications with the market. BlackBerry did not really concentrated on the normal consumers, and that's why BlackBerry went out of the market. And the same happened with Windows devices. They did not really concentrated on universality of the people, and they they had their own proprietary, and that's the main reason why Windows also went down into their market share, and it eventually collapsed when it was in 2017 or 16, I guess. So even Windows got collapsed. Such a big company, such a big operating system, and yeah, eventually it failed as well. But so then Apple came, and soon after that, I guess parallelly where Android was launched too, where Apple had their own operating system. They had their own proprietary, that is iOS, where Google launched their Android operating system, which was open source. So, like literally any manufacturer who wanted to make a phone can, use their Android operating system on their smartphone and keep on going. When they had the base, when they had the whole working platform base, like why would not manufacturers use that? So when every single manufacturer started to use Android as their main operating system, that became like very difficult for developers in order to get acquainted to their mobile screens. For example, mobile screens are like everywhere now. Screen is on your laptop, your phone, even refrigerators have screens now. Some of helmets have screens. Some of the electric vehicle have screens who has Android Auto going on in that. So it was very hard for developers in order to make and build applications and get acquainted, make their say that their applications responsive to the multiple layout and multiple screens. So that is the main problem where Android users faced a problem. But when it comes to Apple, it had like limited phones. For example, iPhone 5s and iPhone series and like iPad series. That's all they do have, right? But even that were that started to become a little bit problem, because as per their they started to invent their new generations. They slowly and eventually had to develop like larger the screen size, and that made the problem for them as well. Okay. So that were the problems that were like faced by developers when they were trying to develop application. All right, so now let's understand like when an Android application, or like when a developer, okay, who wants to build an say an Android app or like an iOS app, what does he has approaches. He has like three approaches, to be precise. One is native approach, one is hybrid approach, and another one is cross platform approach. What does a native approach means? Like native approach is coding, coding for iOS in Objective C or in Swift. Objective C was earlier, then came Swift in order to make programming easier. That goes same with Android. So just in case if you wanted to code Android application, you had to learn Java. And the problem with Java is longer library files, long complicated threadings, and complicated classes files and all stuff like that. I mean, that was the main reason why I stopped developing an Android application back in 2018, I guess. Yeah, that was the main reason why I stopped. Then came Kotlin. I mean, Kotlin was great. I mean, I did not like the main reason why I stopped using Kotlin was because of the user interface. It did not give me the way that I wanted to. I mean, the user interface was not so modern that I wanted. So that was the main reason why I did not choose a native. But then came hybrid. I'm sorry. When it comes to hybrid, you use the technology such as HTML, CSS, and JavaScript and stuff like that. And you just make a website, make it so responsive, and make an application out of it, so that it in that application you open a web view in it. And once you open a web view, you have the application ready. But technically, you are watching a website which has been made responsive to your smartphone, right? Now, the phone did not have capability to reach to your locations because that was a hardware part. Like it is very difficult for say that website to reach a phone's hardware part. So that is where Ionic and Cordova such technologies came into existence. But working with them was a little bit pain because working with a lot of technologies, you're already working with like 3 to 4 languages and you're using frameworks. That became a little bit problematic, and this did not stay for a longer while in market. Then came cross-platform. I mean, eventually it started with React Native. When Facebook launched the React Native, the market went crazy, and market actually went crazy. They were like, "Oh my God, single code base. Why this and why that? So why should we code this? Why should we learn this and that?" But it was great. To be very honest, I have used React Native by myself, and I felt it like a little complicated, and that's why I figured out that I should be exploring more towards Flutter. And when Flutter came into a market, it was like 2018, the market went crazy, seriously on this. Flutter was, one of the technology where you can develop single code. If you have a single code, you can develop Android application, iOS application, as well as you can develop an, web app. That means you can develop a website as well. So that was like a single code, and you can develop you can push that app or like that code into 3 platforms. One was iOS, one was Android, and one was say that web app as well. So that was the main reason why people started to prefer Flutter and its performance. There are multiple stuff like that. We'll soon learn that in today's session. So what exactly is Flutter? Flutter is a SDK that makes building, that helps to build high performing applications, modern and beautiful applications. So when I say SDK, what does SDK mean? SDK is nothing but standard development kit. Okay, standard development kit is nothing. You can also relate it with a certain small package, where Google has written all their codes with, and you take little assistance of it and you start to code. As simple as that. You don't have to dig a little bit in that. Then comes it works for both iOS and Android. You definitely know that. And then came it is an open source toolkit where when developers listen to the word open source, they usually tend to like how it goes like. So there will be a lot of contributions. There will be a lot of comments. There will be a lot of ideas that are going to share. There will be a lot of events that that will bring developers together and share their ideas as well and contribute their work to the project, and that will make the project go a little bit higher than what they are expecting. Now, Flutter also has 18,000 commits from user, guys. I mean, imagine the technology which was like just introduced two years before, and which was in alpha stage that day. And it already has like 18,000 commits from the open source community. And maybe I have like 2 or 3 of them, maybe. Yeah, that sounds good, right? Yeah, so that is Flutter. And what exactly is Dart? And why are we going to talk about Dart? So Dart is a programming language which was built by Google in 2011, like literally back in 2011. But the problem is we never really come across with a programming language called as Dart, right? We always talk about Java, we always talk about Python and stuff like that. So when Dart came out, Dart was actually being used and is being used in current technologies, like a lot of technologies, right? So it is an object-oriented programming language with having a C-style syntax. So you can say that it is nothing but an object-oriented who has C syntax. So C-style syntax is nothing but the way you code in C, the way how your C programming looks like. So it's in the same way. For example, if if your if else statement in C, it is like if condition and else condition, so it would look same and exactly same in Dart as well. So that made the learning curve for new students very easy. For example, if you guys see, say that if you guys see a Java code, it becomes very difficult for you to understand. But if you guys see a C programming or like C programming code, it becomes very easy for you to understand, and that is what makes the learning curve very easy. Now when we talk about that, especially the new people, like new students, becomes a little bit anxious and cautious about, okay, we are using Dart, is it actually useful in future or not? So Google has been using Dart in a lot of their platform, like literally a lot. For example, Dart has been used in Google AdWords. It has been used by Google Fuchsia OS, which is around the corner to launch, and it has also been used in AdSense performance report. For example, when YouTubers or like bloggers earn from Google, right, AdSense. So the performance report that has been generated is generated from Dart. The backend uses Dart language, and bigger companies such as Adobe has also been using Dart, and many more stuff like that. One of the example, one more would be Google Fiber is also using Dart as the backend language. So there are a lot of use cases where Dart has been used. The only thing is that we just don't know about it. Now, without wasting any time, let's dig a little bit deeper how the diagram layout looks like. Okay, so for example, on your right side, you can see an Android application. I mean, this is a screen of an Android application or like iOS application, whatever it is. Now, when you see it in a normal user way, what do you see? You see an image, you see text, you see icons, and you see another piled up of text. But when you see it in the way of a developer, like especially a Flutter developer, what does he looks like? So let us understand how how a Flutter developer will look like is. Now he will look like he will looks for, are there any rows and columns in this in this screen? So definitely one column is the whole screen. Okay, the whole screen that would be resembling one single column, and then there is row. Now, first of all, let's understand why do we use columns. In order to place items, or like for example, we have placed text, we have placed icon, we have placed images one after another, right? One below another, one below another, one below another. In order to paste items or elements one below another, we use columns. And in order to paste items one after or like one beside each other, we use rows. So now here we have column as well as rows, right? So is there any grid here? We don't have grid. Are there any overlapping images? Are there any images where this particular text is overlapping this image? No, we don't have it. That comes into a little bit complicated part of Flutter. And then do we need tabs? Currently we don't have tabs here, but let us understand the last line. Do we have padding? Yes, we do have padding. So you can see this particular text. Okay, this has padding on the left and right side. All right, this has alignment? Exactly. You can see the call, root, and share button has an alignment of center. We have aligned all these icons in center. Now, do we need borders? Currently, we don't have any borders. So let's not just ignore the borders as of now. So let us take a deeper look how these elements have placed one beside each other and one after each other. All right. So now, let's first take a look towards this one. So now you can see there is a row. Why are we using a row? In order to place elements one beside each other. So now you can see we have an icon, we have a text, and we have two of these elements residing each other, one beside each other. Now, when we are besiding each other, but there is another two text who are sitting one after each other. For this, we are using, we are wrapping the text one and text two with a column. See, it is written over here, column of two children. We are wrapping this inside a row. And on the right side, we have an icon and a text. I know this might get a little bit problematic to understand initially, but once we start begin live coding, you guys will understand it very easily. So yeah, just in case if you get a little bit confused, that's all right. This was just to teach you like what exactly is rows and columns. So on the right side, the same thing goes. We have a row over here in order to place the items one after each other, one beside each other, and we have icon as well as text, that is placing the items one after each other, one below each other. I'm sorry, I'm just getting confused with after and beside. Yeah, so I guess you have understood this. All right, so now let's move towards yeah, what people are saying about Flutter. When people say that running at 60 fps is nothing but frames per second. Running at 60 fps, user interfaces created with Flutter platform are far better than those with created with other cross platform development. When experts say that application is running at 60 fps, what do they mean by 60 fps? That means 60 frames are running per second, and when you have 60 frames running per second, the application tends to become a lot smoother than what you actually imagine. For example, if you come across an application in your phone, and let's say that your phone is running with Snapdragon 845, the processor is capable of running the app very smoothly. But just in case if your application is not yet optimized, okay, is not yet so well built, the application will still lag even though you have a powerful processor. So now in order to what Flutter does here is it makes sure that you have running 60 fps application, that makes the applications look more smoother than it actually is. So now, next one, the UI is butter smooth when building a release version. I have never seen app, such a smooth Android application. Now, when they say the UI is butter smooth, they mean the same thing again. That means the UI is very smooth going, right? For example, I can say that when they say if at all you are unlocking a screen, if at all this you see the smoothness of the screen, that depends upon how well it has been built. For example, I can give you. I came across recently, yeah, the WhatsApp scroll. That even that is a good example. And and just give me one moment. Just give me one moment. Yeah. All right. So it also says that when building a release version, when they mean that, that means there are two type of versions when we are building. One is debug version that says that this application is not perfect. This application has a little bit of errors here and there. So that application might not run smooth. But when you build a release version, that will be it is like I have never seen such a smooth Android application. So the better the performance, the better the user base you will get. Now, let us understand how Flutter works. Okay, every single thing inside Flutter is a widget. No matter you are using a text, no matter you are using an image, or like say scrollable element, or like an expandable widget or anything like that. Every single thing will be a widget. There are two type of main widgets where we write where we write the code with. One is the stateless widget, and another one is stateful image. So for example, in order to make you guys understand in a very clear and very quick way, what is stateless widget? Stateless widget will have an elements which won't change. For example, stateless widget, you can consider it as static website. Okay, and a stateful widget, you can consider it as dynamic website, where data will keep on changing. But in stateless widget, data won't change. So I hope you have got a decent idea about what stateless and stateful widget is all about. So now, when we say everything is a widget, what do we mean by that? You see, we realized that we had an image in the design layout we discussed just now. So the image is also considered as widget. Now we place that image inside a column. The column is also considered as widget. Now, just in case if you remember, we placed row inside column. Even the row is also a widget. Container is also a widget. Even though when you open a single application, you see an app bar, even that is considered as a widget. So just like it says, every single thing is a widget. So no matter whatever you come across, just say it as it's a widget. Now, what is the benefit of widget? Why exactly are we using? Because Google has written all the codes for us. For example, if you use app bar widget, app bar will look something like this. It will have a leading, it will have an icon at the end, it will have a text in between. So Google has have added all the constraint pre-built in the SDK, and we just have to pull it and use. So it is as simple as that. Okay, so let us speak about why do I love Flutter so much. So yeah, the main thing is 60 FPS application, butter smooth, and people at Google were not happy with all those kinds of good things that they did on Flutter. They also wanted to launch something else, that was hot reload. Now, if you guys have worked with iOS, or like if you guys have worked with Android, like native application building, you might be knowing how problem it is to build an application. How long does it take to build a Gradle? How long does it takes to build an iOS application? It almost takes 30 to 50 seconds to build an iOS application, and it almost takes like 2 minutes to build an Android application, right? So understand, for example, like imagine if Facebook is developed in hard coded Java, and if a developer like misses one single word and he clicks rebuild, imagine how many hours would it take to build that application. That would be a real wrong, right? So what Google and Flutter came up with is hot reload. So just in case if you have missed anything inside the UI, what you do is you just change it, and immediately, like in a second, within a second, that change is reflected in your Android application or like iOS application. We'll see that live. So IDE support for Flutter is also really great, especially when it comes to Android Studio. Personally, I love Android Studio. The feature that it is offering for Flutter is really good. There are a lot of other IDEs as well, such as Sublime Text Editor, VS Code Editor, that are providing good support as well. Comparatively, I used VS Code, but I felt Android Studio was better. It is a little bit heavy, but yeah, that was going great because the integration with Flutter is really good. And just like I told you, they look great and they are fast. All right, so now let us begin coding our first application. On the right side, you can see we have our application, right? So you might be wondering, okay, this looks like 2018 or 2019 kind of UI. But yeah, in order to understand the basics, we are going with this. We will build looking nice looking applications in future. So this application is a more like a resume app, or you can also call it as my card app. All right, so let's get with the live coding as of now. So let's start Android Studio. All right, for example, for the students who want to live code with me, what you can do is, just in case if you don't have Android Studio, there is one website called as dartpad.dev and Flutter. So you can open this website and you can you can code here. So I already have the application running, so you can code in this in this particular website. But the problem is it doesn't really give you autocomplete field, and sometimes the database or some stuff like that doesn't work here. So yeah, so just in case if people don't have Android Studio working, you guys can use Dartpad. You just have to type Dartpad space Flutter in Google, and you will have it. All right, super cool. So now let us start with Android Studio. We'll click start a new Android, start a new Flutter project. Let us choose Flutter application, and let's write our name. So please make sure when you are you are writing a project name, all the letters should be lowercase, and it should be different. The word should be differentiated with an underscore. So let us write GDG underscore app1. All right. Click on next. So this is the package name. We usually write a domain name over here, but if just in case if you don't have domain name, you can write your own name or like whatever it is. All right, just make sure this is very unique with your name, so that others can understand this is your app and it has not been replicated by others. Yeah, let's click finish. The creating Flutter project might take like 2 to 3 minutes, or like sometimes 30-40 seconds. It depends upon your system. And yeah, so let's wait. Maybe an awkward silence a little bit. Yeah. All right. Right now you can see. Just give me one moment so that I can align the items properly. Yeah. Okay. So on the left side you have your project structure, and on the right side this is your area where you will start building your Android application or like iOS application or like Flutter application. So basically this will be your working space or like office, or like the time where you might build your own startup as well. Okay. So let us get started with let's get started with initial code itself, because we have a lot to discuss. Don't worry about the code which has been provided by Google as of now. Let me just delete it and let us understand now. So when you see here, there is a one folder called as lib. I'm sorry that I cannot zoom this part, but yeah, there is one folder called as lib, that is library. Now in this folder we have one file that is called as main.dart. Okay, once you run this, the Android Studio will run main.dart, and main.dart will find the main function. And what are we doing? We are telling, hey, main.dart, run this app. Which app? My app. And let us write stateless widget, because why? We are having nothing here. We are having no changes in the, we have no data that is changing in this application. So that is why let's use stateless. Okay, let's add STL, and Android Studio will automatically suggest us, to how you can build, just hit enter, how the structure will look like. So now you can see we have the skeleton, or like you can say the anatomy of the stateless widget. Okay, now let us name this class. Let us name it my app. Okay, and now let us run this. Okay, let's run this inside an iOS. No device connected found. Okay, just give it some time so that to start. Yeah. Okay. Oops. Yeah, let's start it. The start might, the building time might depend upon your system. Yeah, so sometimes it takes like 30 seconds, sometimes it takes like around 2 minutes. But yeah, that depends upon how much RAM do you have on your system. So yeah. So on the first line, you can also see that we are importing the package from Flutter, that the Flutter name is a Dart. Okay, what is that? Material.dart. So what is material? So material is, it is a style from Google where it has all the layouts, all the colors and accents that has been, designed. And, it has been very popular since then when it started to introduce that. A lot of companies, a lot of startups have started to use that particular material theme in every of their project. So that looks a little bit modern, and the colors are not so contrast. They are not like so they don't just hurt your eyes. They make your Android app look more calm and decent. All right. So yeah, it is running the Xcode build. Let's wait for that. So for me, it took like 48 seconds to build the Xcode project. Okay. Okay. On the right side now, you can see we have nothing on our screen. Why? Because we are only returning a container of it. Okay. So now container is it, we are not returning anything. Now let us write, let us return a material app. Okay, material app with the with all the styles itself. Inside the material app, what we'll do is there is one major property that initiates your project, that is home. Home is nothing but a property, and we will give a value to it. A value can be an widget, it can be a certain property, anything. Right now we'll add a widget. Let's say scaffold widget, and let's now hot reload. Okay, you see how immediately the change was reflected on my phone, right? What exactly is a scaffold? Scaffold is nothing but a plain white sheet that is provided from Flutter. Okay, inside a Flutter, we have a property called as body. Now, for body, again, you can give any widget inside it. So let us say, let us give a text widget stating that, hello, my name is Maverick. Okay, and let's hot reload. Okay, so sometimes this start import just comes off. You just have to remove it, and let's say hot reload once again. Now you can see the project is running. We just don't know where the element is. On the top left corner, you can see we have the element. Now, the main reason that it is on the top left corner because we haven't aligned it. In order to align it, what we usually do is there is another widget called as center widget. Now we add it inside center. How do we add a widget inside a center? Let's learn that. Instead of passing text, what we'll do is we'll pass a center. Now, when you want to pass a widget inside a widget, what you have to do is you have to give a widget as child. Okay, and in the child, you have to give the text. Now let's see hot reload, and now you can see earlier it was on the top left corner sitting under the time, but now it is in center. Okay, that is how easy it was. All right, so let us see the layout first. So we have the image and we have the background color. Okay, so let us set the background color first. All right, so now the background color, if you remember, the background color that we got from scaffold is white. Now, in order to change the background color from white to this greenish, now whose property it is? It is of scaffold property. So let's say background color, and how do we give colors? That is colors dot, and we have all the colors listed. I mean, this is the feature given by Android Studio, right? So let's say teal color, and let's say hot reload again. Now you can see we have this color, we have given the background color. Now if you observe keenly, this color is little bit lightish version of the color that we are having over here. So now how do you give shadows to your color? So now adding a square brackets will give shadows to your color. For example, let's add 100. Now this teal will become the initial version, the lighter shade. Now you can see it is very lightish. For example, let's make it as a 900, the maximum value. It will become the darkest green. Now, in order to maintain this balance, let's keep it as 300. All right. Okay. So now you can see we have almost matched the color, right? Super cool. Now we have elements one after each other, right? We have an image. We have say we have text inside that, below that. Then we have text below that as well. Now, in order to make this, what did we understand in the grid layout here? That we need to use columns and rows in order to paste elements one after each other or one beside each other. Okay, so let us use
Hi,
column.
hello. Sorry
Yeah,
to interrupt,
yeah.
but can you please increase your font size of the editor?
Okay, is it visible right now?
Yeah, yeah, this is good. Thank
Okay,
you.
no problem. Yeah. So let us remove the center as of now, and let's add column. When you remember, when you saw, okay, we are placing elements one below each other. Now that means you are giving, that means you are placing widgets one after each other. Or you can also say that you are giving, or like you are adding a widget inside a widget, right? So now we just saw that a widget was only accepting one child. But what does column accept? Okay, for example, if you have one son or like one daughter, you will call it as you have one child. But for example, if at all you have two sons or two daughters, what you will call them? You have children. In the same way, column will accept children, right? And here what we'll do is we'll add an image. Okay, let's say image dot asset. Now, if we want to add an image, we need to have that image in our project file. right? From where do we have that image? Where do we bring that image from? Now we need to have that path of that image. So now what we'll do is I have a folder created. Okay, I have just give me one moment. Okay, yes, so I have an image over here, image folder, that is containing my own image, right? So what I'll do is I'll just copy this. I'll tell you, I'll explain it in a one moment. So yeah, let's open Finder once again. Let's navigate towards the our own okay, here. Okay, this is the project folder. Okay, this is the project folder that we are building this current application in. Now what we'll do is we'll create a new folder here called as image. Rather than creating, I'll just paste it because I had it. Now what you can do is you can create a new folder called as image, and inside this you can paste your own image. Make sure you also observe, the extension. What type of your image? Do you have a PNG image or like a JPEG image? All right. So make sure you see that. Once you have done this, once you have added your image into your particular directory, project directory, let's come back to Anda Studio, and it should immediately reflect. See, it immediately reflected that you added a new folder. You added a new folder, and inside that you have a new file, that is your image file. Now you have to make, you have to tell your Flutter application that, hey Flutter, I have added an image. I have my image in this particular directory. How do you do that? There is one folder called as pubspec.yaml. Open this, and here you will have all those code where, just in case if you are using any packages or like any special classes which are using from which you will be using from internet, or like asset folders such as like that, you will tell Flutter that, okay, I'm using this. For example, if I'm using any dependencies, I'll come here and tell that, okay Flutter, I'm going to use a dependency called as Firestore. I'm going to use a dependency called as charts, such like that. In the same way, you will tell Flutter that, hey Flutter, I'm going to use this asset. What will be your asset? Your asset is an image here. So now if you come down, you will have assets written in the comment section. What you will do is you'll remove the comments. Okay, let's remove the comments initially, and now you will see. Okay, now you will see these are like working. These are not in comments. Now the most important factor that you need to say that give attention to is the indentation inside pubspec.yaml, because once you miss the indentation, it doesn't really sometimes it doesn't really shows up the error, but you will be like stuck up, like why is it not working, why is it not working, stuff like that. So that's the main reason. So now when you come to asset, you have to have one tab and two tabs over here. And what I'll do here is I'll make sure I'll tell Flutter that, hey, my asset, I have an asset, that is just import whatever it is inside image folder. And once you update this, how will you tell that, okay, I have updated? Okay, Flutter, I have updated my pubspec.yaml. How you will tell that? This is it, pubspec pub.get. So any dependencies that are online, you are getting something online, or just you modified your pubspec.yaml, make sure you click pub.get. All right, sometime initially once you click it, it won't work. You have to click it twice. Now let's go back to main.dart. Now let us write, let us give the directory. Okay, so now image slash image.jpg. You can also just copy the name and like paste for being in a safer side. Okay, now let us see. Sometimes it will directly work out of the box, or sometimes you have to restart it. Okay, let's hot reload. You see, this time it worked. All right, so just in case, for example, if you are not able to if you are not able to load this, if it says that the image is not found, just stop it and restart your application and your image should be there. Now if you see the project, if you see the application UI, we have it inside a circle, right? Now, why do we have it inside a circle? Because that is how our UI is built off. Okay, now what you can do is you can either put this image inside a container, you can put decoration, you can put box radius, very long process. But what Flutter gives you is there is one class called as, say, circle avatar, and inside circle avatar you have background image as a property, and for a background image you will pass a widget called as asset image, and the image address will be images image slash image dot jpg. Okay, and let's hit hot reload now. Okay, just say jpg. So now you can see I just misplaced one word, and it is giving me an error, unable to load asset, right? So just in case if you are getting this error, make sure you check your name of the specified location. Let's click hot reload, and on the top left corner you can see the image. Now how will you make this image bigger? There is one property called as radius in circle avatar. All right, now you will write like, say, 100 will be my radius, 100 pixels. See, now it is looking better, right? It's looking a little bit neat now. But hey, it is in the top left corner. We want it in center. How will we bring center? Now, if you remember, we have placed this circle avatar inside column. Exactly. Now, column has a property called as main axis alignment, and we will give a value to that property, that is main axis alignment dot center, and hit hot reload. Now you can see it is exactly in center, right? Okay. Now let's add this. Also remember, the column will wrap up, consider the widget, consider the width by as the width of your particular widget placed inside. For example, if I say that I write text and say, yeah, just give me one moment. So if I do it like this and say hot reload, so it will consider the width till here, consider the width till my text widget is. All right, so just remember that one. So after that we have a text, that is my name, right? Okay, let's add a name, that is ABHISHEKMIRAJKAR, and make sure you add comma after every single widget, because just in case if you miss one, it's going to be a little bit problem to figure out where and what. Now you can see I have my name here. All right, then what we have say a written Flutter developer. Now in the same way, what we'll do, we'll add a text below it. What will be that text? Say Flutter, FLUTTER Flutter developer. Okay, let's click hot reload once again. We have it here, right? Exactly, butter smooth. Now you can also see that we have given a little bit of font style. We have also given a little bit of color to it, but we'll figure that out later. Now we have a certain white area, and inside that we have an icon, and we have we have a text. Okay, now for this what we are going to do is, you can either take a container and place that item inside rows. But now that will be a little bit bigger process, because you need to place a row, you need to place a container inside, and then you need to place an icon, and then an text widget. But now what Flutter will give you is, there is say that you can say there is a widget called as a list tile. Okay, list tile. Inside a list tile there are two properties. One is leading and one is title. Let's write title first. Title will be, in the title what will pass a text. Okay, let's add my phone number, that is +91 80888622. All right, so I know you can see it here, but it's all right. Yeah, let's say hot reload. Oops, I missed this. Now you can see I have it here, right? But we also need to add an icon. list tile will also accept one more property, that is leading, and inside leading will add icons. All right, let's say inside leading we have a widget called as icon, and inside icon what we'll do is we'll give the value, what icon we have to give. How will we give that? We'll say icons dot, and then we have all the icons that has been provided by Flutter. We have clear icon, we have home icon, we have camera, we have arrow back, we have search, we have launch, we have add, we have person. So for example, we need call here. So let's add call and let's say hot reload. Now see, it is looking smooth, right? So for example, let me show you one more icons dot delete. So it will show dustbin now. See, so we have all the icons listed and pre-built inside Flutter. So let's say, so now you can see we have an icon as well as the text, right? But we want, we want this thing inside a container which is white. How will we do that? What we'll do is we will place this inside another, say that inside another widget called as card. So let's click on start of L. Okay, you see a little tiny bulb over here on the left side. That means Android Studio understands that, hey, you want to place a widget inside, outside it. Once you click here, you can see wrap with widget, wrap with center, wrap with column, container, padding, row, stream builder, and stuff like that. But what do we need as of now? We need wrap with widget. We'll do that. And what we'll do here is, let's say card, and let's hot reload, and you will see how easy it was for us to build this. See, exactly right. It was so easy for us to build this, right? So card, what card is giving us? Card is giving us the, it is returning just a card, and inside that we have a list tile where we have an icon, where we have a title. It is as simple as that. All right, amazing. So we'll just copy paste this one because we have them two. Let's copy this and paste this. All right, so you can see now we have almost, the application is almost ready now. We just have to give styling, that is font, and we just have to change the color. All right, so now let's start concentrating towards font. How will you add fonts now? Just like you told pubspec.yaml that, hey Flutter, I'm going to use a new font now. In the same way, if you scroll down, you will have fonts here, which will be inside, it will be considered as comments. So let me just remove the comment, say one tab, and 1, 2 tabs, and 1, 2, 3 tabs, and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Please make sure that you have the indentation given properly, or like it will mess you up for like 1 hour. Yeah. After that, we are using fonts app. Okay, we are using a font called as Dancing Script. So in the same way, we'll copy this folder and we will paste this inside our project file. Let's come here, let's paste it. All right, now on the left side, immediately it will reflect it. Let me show you. See, it just reflected right away. You click it, you can see this particular font, copy it. Once you copy, when you press Command C or like Control C inside your Android Studio, it will copy the file name. All right, now you come here, make sure you paste the file name. The file name should be exactly same as your it is inside the directory. So let's add the family name, that is, say I'll add dancing, DANCING. Also, just in case if you find my spellings wrong, my mistake, because I'm bad with my spellings. All right, so just like once we are done with this, let's tell Flutter I am done with updating. Let's click pub.get. All right, now let's come back to main. Now, how do you add style for text? So exactly, we have a style property for text. Okay, what style property is expecting a value? Inside value, what will we give? A text style widget, right? Inside text style, you can hit Control and space, right? I think it will be a little bit different in Windows. I'm not really sure which key would you use, but yeah, inside Mac it has Control space Windows. So it will show what are all the properties that a text style is expecting, right? Now what we are expecting, font family. Let's add font family. Let's add double quote and let's add dancing, Dancing, and let's hit hot reload and let us see if at all the font changes or not. We hit hot reload and the font is not changing. Just like I told you, if at all, even though the code is right and you just modified pubspec.yaml, if the code is not working, what you should be doing is you should be, just stop the project right away and restart your application. So initially you just stop and you restart it. So the restart will take around 40 seconds. So yeah, just let's have a little bit of calm. All right, I hope you guys are getting what we are developing. Initially, in order to understand this in just 1 hour, it is little difficult. You need a little bit practice as well. So once you're done with this session, what you can do is you can just give like 1 hour, like half an hour, and you can try to experiment with your own layouts. And there is one particular reason that we are using this layout, because it is very easily understandable, and it gives you a depth meaning of rows and columns and stuff like that. All right, now if you observe carefully, I know the font style, font size is a little bit less. Let's increase that. Let's say font oops font size. No, let's add font size and let's give it like 30 pixels and let's see. Okay, so now you can see the font is completely changed. Now, just like I told you earlier, it did not reflect. I stopped the project and I restarted it. All right, now how do you add a color? Simple. Let's add color property and it will expect the colors that say white. Not reload. Amazing, right? The same thing will go with this. Let's give a style. Let's give a style, text style, color property. Let's give a color that is white, and let's say hot reload. And as you can see, we have the flutter now. All right. So if you observe carefully now, if you observe a little bit careful, what do we have? We have space in between these. Now, what you can do is you can wrap every widget with a padding, or there is one thing called as sized box. SIZED, sized box. Inside sized box, what you do is, let's say you give height of 40. So this will create an empty space. All right, empty space after this particular image. Let's hit hot reload and you can see there is an empty space now. All right, let's copy this sized box once again. Let's paste this after the text and little bit of less space. Let's make it like 20 height. Now you can see the space is more in between the image and first text because we have provided the value 40, and it is less because we have provided the value 20. After that, let's add the same value called as 20. Okay, now it is looking almost similar, like we are very close. Okay, we have developed the application. We can see image, we have changed the font, we have changed the style, we have added the tile, but on the left and right side you can see the padding, right? Now how do we implement padding? Let's come here. So now what you can do is you can either wrap this two different tiles in two different paddings, or you can add a whole padding to this particular column. But what I'll do is I'll rather add the whole padding to this column itself. Let's come here. Let's click on the hint box and let's see, wrap with padding. Now it will automatically add a padding property. It will add an edge insect all and stuff like that. Let's understand what is edge insects. Edge insects is nothing but a property. Let's add symmetric. And once you add symmetric, that means you will be adding padding symmetrically. So which side you want to add? You want to add it to horizontal side or vertical side? We want to add it horizontally. Say it says horizontal. And let's say we want to add pixels, 10 pixels on the both side. Let's say hot reload. As now you can see, we have successfully replicated the exact as it is. Let me just place it beside each other. Now you can see, isn't it? We have we replicated each other. All right, super cool. I hope you guys are following with me. And yeah, so that is how you build your first project. So the first project took like say 20-25 minutes about. And yeah, it is that easy. You just have to play along with the widgets, with the alignment, and it is that simple, right? So all right, so let's get back to our presentation. So we created this beautiful looking application, right? It is like my card app, or you can also say resume app. So why do I say resume app? You can say that what are your projects, what are your achievements done. You can place it in a grid, or like align it properly. And for example, next time, just in case if the recruiter asks you, hey, hand over me your resume, what you can do is you can just directly hand your particular application, and you can be a little bit cool over there, but just make sure it is a job related to mobile application, or like something software development job, so that he appraises your work. Just in case if it doesn't relate anything to mobile applications, or like designing, it doesn't make really any much sense. Yeah. The next thing is, yeah, so congratulations guys, you have successfully built your first Flutter application, right? So it took like 15-20 minutes, and boom, you're there. All right, so now let's understand. We designed the backend, we designed the front end, right? So we also want to add certain functionality. Now, in order to add certain functionality, what we'll do is, let's use Shuffle Me application. Okay, what is this? It is nothing but a basic application where if you click on this button shuffle, it will it will return you a new value. It is like rolling a dice. All right. Okay. So let's get started with building this one. All right, sounds great. Amazing. So let's come back to our Android project. Let's stop this project as of now. Let's come to new. Let's come to new Flutter project. Click on start. Let's say GDG underscore SHUFFLE, shuffle underscore app. Let's say hit next. Let's say next again. So please make sure that in this application, what we'll do is we will we will go a little bit faster when it comes to front end, because I want you guys to concentrate on the back end, because we are going to use one library called as math library from Dart. Okay, so in this particular project, what you will understand is how to use how to code a little bit of logic. All right, so yeah, so this window itself. So yeah, so my first project is ready. So let me just remove this whole thing. Now you can see, as you can see that this particular widget, or like you can say this particular image is changing multiple times, right? So which widget are we going to use? We'll use stateful widget, and let's name that stateful widget to my app. And yeah, so let me just go a little bit faster with the image layout, and let me just I'll just stop where you find something new stuff. So let's come back to, okay, so now let me tell you the basic overview. So there will we have almost 6 images. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6. All right, so you can find these all basic projects easily on Google. So this was the these projects are like easygoing projects for beginners. So you can just type Flutter projects for beginners, and you will have like multiple projects coming out. So I've chosen this and that one and this one. You have 6 images. All right, and once you click on shuffle, any one images returns, and that has been replaced by the that is overlapped with the older widget, or you can say older image. Okay, so let me just copy this image, like let me just copy this folder, and what I'll do, I'll paste it into my project folder. Let's come here and let's paste it. And please make sure we have written images, and all of images are present here. Okay, let's come to Android Studio, and now let's tell our Android project, hey Flutter, I have added a folder called as images inside your directory. One tab and two tabs, and let's say images, let's say pub.get. All right, once we have done that, so I'll just go a little bit faster here. So let's say material app. Inside material app, we have home. Inside home, we'll have a scaffold. Inside scaffold, we'll have a body. And inside a body, we'll have a column, because we are having one image and one button, right? So we'll have a column inside it. We have children. Yeah, let's add children, and let's add an image asset. So image asset would be that images, images slash yeah. What is the file? What is the file name? Let's add a dice app 1. So after this, I'll add one more, that is it is a button, right? So for the button, what we usually do is we add raised button. We have a widget called as raised button. Okay, let me just run this project on the file, and let me just show you how does it looks like right now. All right, so let me just give you a basic tour. We have returning a material app. Inside that there's a scaffold. What is scaffold? White sheet, and inside that we have drawn a column, and inside column we have two different widgets. One is image widget, and we have another widget that is a button widget. Okay, what image will do? Image will produce an image for in front of our screen, and what button will do? It will give us some functionality, right? A clickable functionality. So what is that functionality? On pressed. So what a button should do when it's on pressed? So currently it is null. Null means it is deactivated. Okay, null also, you can also tell it as it is not active, it is disabled. Okay, let's wait for like, okay, it's running. It's gonna run in like 2 minutes now. Yeah, so if you observe keenly, okay, if you observe very carefully, I'm not really sure, YouTube might just compress the data. So there is an image, we have image, but it is in white, and even the scaffold is in white, and that's the main reason that we are not able to see the image. So what we are going to do, let's add a background to our scaffold image. Say background color be colors dot purple, and no, not purple, let's say deep purple. I think that is deep purple. All right, so let's say okay, hit reload. Now you can see. Now is it matching? Is it matching, guys? Is it matching? Yes, it is. Super cool. Let's come to Android Studio again. Okay, these both are in center. All right, so let's get this column. Let's get this column inside. Not column. Let's make main axis alignment. Main axis alignment dot center. Now you can see these are both in center. Now, in order to reduce the size of the image, we have one property called as width. Okay, you add width, and let's say the width of the image will be 300. I think it's going to be okay. Oh no, let's add 100. It's going to be a better one. All right, now you can see it is it is inside what? Give me one moment. Yeah, it is inside. It is in the proper alignment, right? It has a 300 100 width. Okay, in order to make this center, what we are going to do is let's add image in center. Oops, just give me one moment. Let's add image widget in center so that everything comes centered. Okay, now you can see everything is in center. Let's add a sized box. So usually sized box is, if only use sized box if you just want to give a little bit of height, because this becomes problematic when if you want to design responsive application. Just in case if you want to add 10 pixels or like 5 pixels, you can use that. Yeah, I got it. I'm sorry. Yeah, tell me. Hello?
tell you that the font has decreased. Now it's better.
Okay, okay. I'm sorry. I created a new project, right? That's why. Yeah. So let's hot reload now, and you can see we just gave a little bit of height. So let's say we'll add 40. 40 will be a lot. Let's add. Okay. Let's make the width of the image a little bit better. Now you also have one thing called as refactoring. Now you can see it is center image inside. There are a lot of properties inside. So in order to refactor this form in a proper way, what you can do is just hit right click, and there's one thing called as reformat code with dart form. Let's do this, and now you can see our whole project is reformatted in a proper indentation way. All right, so that any user can understand. Once I see this, I can see, okay, there's a center, there's a child which has another widget called as image.center. Okay, now let's concentrate towards say raised button. Now, as you can see, this is disabled. What we'll do, we'll make it enable. How we'll make it enable? We'll just add a function, and we'll tell that function, okay, just don't do anything as of now. And let's say hot reload, it is activated. Now, if you click here, you can see the animation as well, right? It is giving us the little animation. All right. Now, inside raised button, it will take a property called as, it will take child, and inside child, what we are going to do, we are going to pass text, and let's say shuffle, shuffel. Let's say hot reload. Now you can see we have hot reload. We have a working button, not exactly working, but yes, you can press over it. All right. So now let's see if it is working or not. How we'll see that? Let's add a print one, and let's say I was clicked. Let's add a semicolon over here. And once I click on shuffle, you will see a print statement over in the console. Okay, let's see hot reload, and let me click it. So you can see here, right? I'm not really okay. I can just make this bigger. So you can see I was clicked. So click. See, I was clicked. So you can see I was clicked again. Let's say hot reload and press shuffle again. See, I was clicked again. So in this way, now the button is partially working. Now what do we want? We want, when I click this button, this image should change. Now, how are we going to implement this particular logic? Now, for example, we have dice 1 to dice 6, right? That means if at all we get only this number, that is 1 to 6, and we replace the number with dice, the name of the image, that means we can print a new image every time, right? For example, if at all I click this, I get 1, dice 1 will be printed. If at all I shuffle and I get return a value that is 3, dice 3 will be printed. If at all I click, I return a value called as 6, dice 6 will be printed, right? So now for this, there is a function called as a random function provided by Dart. Okay, Dart, but it is available in Dart math file. Okay, let's say Dart, and let's come here and say math. Inside math, we have a property called as say random. Now you want to randomize. Once you click on it, you want to save that random file into a particular variable. So what are you going to do now? You are going to create a variable named as say number. Okay, let's say number. Okay, we'll come to on top of override, and let's say integer. Let's say number. We are initializing the integer here, and let's say 1. We are not going to state this 0 because we don't have any image of 0, right? So that's why. And now there is a point. How will you use this number inside our inside our material app? You cannot just write number here. It will take it as what? It will take it as a file name. In order to use a variable which is declared outside the override, and if you want to use it inside your material app, you use $ and the variable name. It will automatically fetch that value, right? This value 1 is been assigned to number, and the 1 will be fetched by using $number, right? Let us experiment with writing 3, and let's say hot reload now. See, we just got 3 here. Let's experiment with, say, 6. That's okay. Okay, give me one moment. 6, I guess 6 is available, right? Let's say hot reload again. Dice number, okay, I guess there is some mistake. Let me just say 2. Okay, let me just restart this application. Okay, we have 2. Sometimes hot reload, if it doesn't work, you just have to restart it. Okay, let's say 6, and say restart the app. See, you can see 6, right? All right, so maybe just my system got a little bit of a lot of performances, background applications are running. That's why maybe hot reload might not working, but yeah, you get the point, right? So we will randomize this, and we have a function called as random. But when will we randomize that? Once we click on shuffle, right? Okay, so when I click on pressed, when I place this one, let's say number will be assigned with one random value. So let's add a random function, RANDORAN, okay, random function. And in that random function, we have a property, like we have a function called as next int max. Okay, this is the max integer value that it will return. It will return from 0 to 6. All right, 0 to 6. I'm sorry, it will return 0 to 5. Okay, so let us experiment this first. So let's say print, let's write this, let's add, okay, let's click hot reload, and let's click here. It is returning me 3. Once I click it, returning 1, 1, 5, 2, 0. Now you can see 0, but we don't have anything called as 0 here. Dice is 1. Either what you can do is you can replace the number system called as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or what you can do is you can just say plus 1. Why are we writing plus 1? Because it's going to return the value from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So for example, if it returns the value 0, we are going to say plus 1 and return 1. If it returns the value 5, we are going to say plus 1 and return 6. Okay, let's verify now. 4, 2, 4, 1, 6, 2, 2, 3, 3, and it goes on like that. But now you can see we are not getting 7, we are not getting 0. That means that means that we are this function is working great. We'll copy this now. Let's cut this. Let's assign this value to is equal to number, let's say semicolon. All right, now technically this should be working, right? On paper, if you see that okay, we are assigning a number, it should be refreshing. Now if I press, it's not working. Why? Because it is assigning that value to this number, but it is not refreshing it. It is not refreshing the screen. Now, in order to refresh the screen by retaining the value, what we are going to use is there is one function called as set state. What it does is it refresh all the values, or like all the widgets with new values. Now, let's say hot reload, and let's say 2, 1, 3, 1. It keeps on going like this. So now, as you can see, we have successfully created it. Let's say print object. Let's say in order to verify it, just give me one moment. Oops. Yeah, 6 plus 1. Let's add. Okay. Hot reload. Now you can see what did it return? 1, and we have dice 1. It returned 3. We have the dice 3. It returned 1. We have the dice 1 again. It returned 2. We have the dice 2 again. So we have successfully created the shuffle app within, say, like just 10 minutes. But now, what is the benefit, right? You understood this coding, this logic and this functionality. Okay, if at all you observe this carefully, all right, this particular function has been used in your Ludo game, which almost has 4 million downloads. So just in case, if you are the first person to develop this logic, back in 2014 and 2016 maybe. So you might be one of the say one of the developer in Ludo who developed the dice, the dice functionality. Although somewhere I feel that the Ludo dice is it is complicated, it is coded, and it is partially, it is right. I just don't want to say that. Okay. Yeah, so now you can see we have successfully coded this one. All right, so I hope you guys have understood how easily we build this. I mean, you can see the whole code has only 46 lines, and almost like it has created the top 14 lines, it has created by itself. And yeah, all right, so I think we are almost about to end the session. So we almost built this, and yeah, I guess that's it for this session. I hope it was very beneficial for you guys, because we had two applications built in like almost 1.5 hour. We had our introduction as well, and it is almost more than enough for you to build basics, I would say that. So yeah, thank you everyone. I love your faces, and yeah. So just in case if you want to contact me somewhere here and there, what you can do is you can go to Facebook, you can go to Instagram, or you can go to LinkedIn. The major part that I'm active is Instagram and LinkedIn, and then comes Facebook. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it, guys. You can also check out my channel, that is Tech Solutions. I do vlogging based on traveling vlogging specifically, and I also have a blog page that is ultimatehype.com. That is www.ultimatehype.com. So all right, thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah, I love your faces. Bye bye. I guess Priya will handle now. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Abhishek. It was really insightful and helpful for everybody, I hope. Thanks a lot for giving us your time also.
I
So
appreciate
guys, we would be moving with the doubt session. So in case if anybody has any doubt, they can move forward with asking him doubts in the comment section right there.
that. All right.
We have assigned like 10 minutes for it. So guys, you can go ahead.
Yeah. No problem. So I can see some of the question, that is animations, and also say set state. So set state is nothing but it refreshes your particular screen with newer values. For example, if you have for example, in this dice app, we had the values changed for our image, right? But that was not updated. What set state will do is it will refresh your particular home screen, or the screen which you are currently working with. So that's how simple it is. And we also, yes, we can add animations. There is one function or like widget called as animate. So that is into a little deeper part of Flutter. So once you go a little bit deeper, so you can change the width, you can make it little animated, you can move all the screens from left to right, you can make it fancy as much as you want. So yeah.
Anybody else?
So I can see one more question, that is difference between building of apps in AS. What is AS? I'm sorry. Difference between app and using Kotlin and Flutter using Dart. Okay, the major difference is the code itself. So for example, if you work on Kotlin, the problem will be, it will be only stuck up for Android. But if just in case if you plan to to extend your particular horizons to iOS as well, so that can be that can help you with Flutter itself. So yeah, Flutter is a good choice just in case if you want to start with mobile application development. I hope I have cleared your doubt. Yeah. Anything
Abhishek, let's
else?
wait. Yeah, let's wait for 2-3 more doubts if they
No
come up.
problem. No problem. No problem. AS is okay. Android Studio. All right. Yeah. Okay, can you tell me why I cannot call the method of one class in another class? Okay, can you tell me why I cannot call the method of one class to another class? Maybe that class might be, public, private, or protected. Could you please check with that? So just in case, if you have defined the class, make sure you have defined it in the main widget above the override, so that it can be accessible by the same structure. Just in case if you have mentioned that class outside the whole project, then it becomes a little bit difficult for you to access the another class. If any person inject any virus through this, uh, what do you mean by? I mean, to be very honest, I don't think so. Why? Because it's an Android application where Flutter is just an SDK. When I'm damn sure Google has taken a lot of measures to keep your security protected as well. Yeah. Usually, if we have a class A and method X in class A, I would be able to call a.x in different class B and a different class B. Siddharth, to be very honest, I don't understand. Like, I haven't really tried what you're saying. But yeah, just in case, if you can contact me personally, what we can do is we could have a session personally, and we can see how it goes on. Because what happens is saying theoretically becomes less reliable, because the way I think the problem might be a little different than what you are actually seeing me. So once we sit down and code it properly so that we could analyze it better, that's what I would say. But does that work in Dart? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It should be working in Dart because it's an object oriented programming language, right? So it will work. It will work in Dart. Yeah, you just have to make the class public or protected, and you can definitely access the methods of another class. Yeah, so I see. It means some background codes injected while developing, but users won't get to understand or find virus. Uh, it means some background codes injected while developing. To be very honest, I don't think so, because the codes can be injected absolutely, but all those kinds of your phone. First of all, you should not be in a public network, which is very 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 dangerous. For example, if you are in a public Wi-Fi, you never know who can access your data. So we just don't know how secure it is. So he can definitely send you an application. If at all you download that, what you can do is that can inject codes in your phone itself, not specifically to apps or something like that. So your phone is risky in that situation. Your contacts might be risky, your messages and stuff like that. Sometimes you never know, the camera might be open and the other person might see you as well. Yeah, I hope that makes sense for you. Yeah. uh, is that all, guys, or like is there anything else? I think, okay. If you are talking about inheritance, check this out. Dart supports single inheritance. Yeah, Shiri Jubli, perfect. The team is doing great, amazing. Priya, I think the questions are done.
Are there any more questions yet to go? You people can go ahead, I guess.
At Abhishek, how do I contact you? Siddharth, you have all my platform usernames listed on your screen right now. That is, I'm sorry. Yeah, that is Abhishek Mirachkar on Facebook, Abhishek Mirachkar on LinkedIn, or at the_logical_guy. That is the logical guy on Instagram. You can contact me there. And yeah, thanks for the session. Thank you everyone. I really appreciate it. I thank Google Developers Group Hubli for giving me this opportunity so that I could share the knowledge with you all. So it's a big platform, so that a lot of people will join in, understand a new language, understand a new technology, learn a new skill in this lockdown period, especially in this lockdown period. Yeah. So you guys have like plenty of time to experiment with yourself and learn a new skill and come out of your own application. You never know, you might come up with a really good application. So just give it a start.
Yeah. Thank you, Abhishek.
Yeah.
So guys, moving forward, as he just mentioned that we would be having sessions, and I mean this COVID-19 period or lockdown period is a very good time to learn all the things. If you have any interests, or is there anything that interests you so much, so you can comment down so that we can have a session on them too, and maybe it would be helpful for us for future too. So I would
Yes.
just give you all 2-3 minutes so you can put it up on the comment section. Also, to remind you guys that our next session would be on data analysis. So anybody who is very interested in data science can definitely attend it, and you can inform your friends as well about this. Any topics that you want us to cover, you can please comment.
Connecting Firebase. uh, yes, connecting Firebase, I mean, we can do that. I mean, that is a little bit of hassle initially, if at all you want to start it with, the initial first 2 to 3 days. What I would say is focus towards, developing your UI skills, and then move towards backend with Firebase or Firestore. That is what I would suggest, because you need to download a JSON file from Google. You have to place it somewhere. You have to establish the connection in between, and it is a little bit complicated. But once you have set up with that, once you understand the flow, it would be good to go. So what I suggest you is, initially the first 4 to 5 days at least, focus towards UI development and small projects like this shuffle, or like you can also try an application which, say, BMI application. That was one of in the list of basic projects for, say, develop Flutter starters. So you can try that as well. Flutter Advanced, like animation, multiple pages, navigation, and REST API connection for Flutter. Yeah, in future, just in case, how time goes, we can think for that.
Any other topic or domain that anybody wants us to cover? Guys, if you cannot think up of any topic right now, then maybe you can think of it later and then shoot an email, or maybe DM us on Insta or Meetup. That would work, I guess.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So, guys, if you really like the event, or at least you felt that this was up to your mark, or we have served you in some way, kindly scan the QR code and give us your feedback. It would be really appreciated, and it would be helpful for us to improve certain things if we lack. And in the end, we are really sorry if we made any mistake from our end. Hope you all enjoyed it. So you can just scan the QR code as soon as possible and move ahead.
Or else, what they can do is, they can just screenshot it right now, and they can just upload it on your QR code scanning app later, just in case
Yeah,
if they don't have two devices right now.
yeah, definitely they can do that.
Yeah. All right. Should we wrap it up? I think they are done.
Yeah. I hope everybody is done with screenshotting or scanning the QR code. In case you face any difficulty, guys, you can hit us up on Instagram or Meetup as well, or you can email us. And the links that I was talking about earlier, we would make it available on Instagram, so you guys can have a look at it, or you guys can mail us for any queries.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye bye, everybody. Stay safe. Enjoy.